The United We Rock Tour. You're doing that with REO Speedwagon.
And Don Felder.
And Don Felder.
Yeah.
Boy, that boy can play guitar, can he?
Yeah, he certainly can.
Is there competition amongst, there's two master guitarists and a keyboard player here with me right now. Is there, when Don gets up there with a guitar?
Nothing but respect.
Mutual Admiration Society is what it is.
Hey, here we are inside your Uncle Joe's garage with support from Mike Thompson RV. Very special day today in the garage. We got it crammed full of musicians. I know it's hard to believe, isn't it? STYX is with us here. Tommy Shaw, Lawrence Goen, and James J.Y. Young. Welcome to the garage.
Uncle Joe, nice to see you, my friend.
Nice to see you.
You know, since your first time in the garage, we always ask about the first car that, and you being musicians, probably were fantastic cars. What was your first car?
My first car was a 1961 Comet that my two brothers and my sister had previously owned.
Sweet.
It was a tank. 3 on the tree.
Nice. You get equipment in the back seat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there you go. Nothing else mattered at that point.
Yeah, and 3 or 4 people, too. It
Yeah.
was like...
And Lawrence, what did you start with?
Well, it was a 70s Chevy van, of course, a shaggin' wagon. It was fantastic.
It just happened that way.
It just happened that way.
Wasn't planned.
Yes, I think the universe unfolded in that manner.
I like the way you put that. JY?
A 66 Chevy Impala, which I inherited from my dad, or was the second car in the family, and it was bequeathed unto me.
What a lucky guy. Drive around Chicago in the snow driving a tank. That's nice, pretty nice.
Yeah, a lot of sheet metal to protect you from the others that are not so capable behind the wheel.
What was the first instrument you started playing?
Everyone in my family was started in piano at age 5.
Yeah, that's kind of where I come from as well. Now, you, sir, and Jack Blades, and Brian Setzer, and Michael McDonald, and myself, we all started out with trombones. It was punishment, I think, wasn't it?
Well, I had an interest in the trombone, but I had really protruding front teeth. I couldn't get my... I couldn't get the armature.
Yeah.
So it was nice after I got braces to it, but I haven't quite picked it back up. I've looked at trombones online, but I'm too cheap to buy a good one.
The next time we're here, I'll have one in so you can
right.
relive the old days.
Valve, not a valve, but a slide.
A slide has to be a slide so you can
Yeah.
poke the people in front. Not that I ever did that. So, Lawrence, what did you start with? Your keyboards right off the bat?
No, guitar. Guitar was my first instrument for a couple of years. And I was like 8 years old. When I was 10, I was trying to play something for my mom. She said, "I've heard you play the guitar." She was Scottish. "I've heard you play guitar a lot, and it's nice, but it's not a real instrument like a piano. A real instrument." So you understand?
I
See what I'm
understand.
saying? A real
We do have a real instrument in the band.
Exactly. So STYX do have a real instrument, and
JY plays a
thanks,
real
Mom.
instrument on occasion.
He does.
On occasion.
He started on a real instrument. No, I've been so guitar envious all my life, but I've been surrounded like we are today here by great guitarists in my life, and so I've never really had to pick it up. But I pick it up anyway and torture them from time to time.
And as well they deserve.
Yeah.
Now, you were with the band when they first started. Did you view STYX as a progressive rock band?
I think so. I mean, our first record, I'm influenced by groups like Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and myself by Hendrix and Cream and things like that. But we definitely had a progressive bent to us, and then because there was sort of classical underpinnings to Dennis DeYoung, who was a music teacher, and I was brought up on piano playing some classical things and clarinet playing some classical things. So the idea of what could make us, we didn't have a great blues singer in the band. So we sort of leaned towards Yes and Emerson and Palmer and that kind of stuff.
And you, sir, when you did My Turn, you started out with Genesis' Trick of the Tail.
Yes.
Tremendous song. That's also an indication somebody was into something other than just the
Yes,
blues.
Genesis was so magical, and it was so different from what I grew up with. But it just appealed to me on a molecular level. There must be something in my past, because I just loved how creative, and it did have kind of a classical leanings in it, but just the English style of playing that was always attractive to me. But I never quite got, because I was more of a blues-based player.
Well, you fooled me.
Based player.
Speaking of basted,
Did you say wasted?
Well, you're from
Oh,
Canada.
bass.
That's
Yeah.
a different situation,
I'm
I
sure,
think.
yeah.
Doesn't miss a trick.
Beatles, I would assume, for you.
Beatles, very much so. Yes, first and foremost. You know, I think that every aspect of their music. I think just about every other band can tie themselves to some era of Beatle music. And so, for example, Genesis. I don't think that Genesis would have been as the spirit of exploration in their music might not have gone to the extremes it did if it weren't for songs like
Yeah.
I'm the Walrus or Strawberry Fields Forever and songs of that nature.
Exactly. One of you, and it may have been you, made the comment here that what we all love about old STYX records, when you listen to them, you hear 5 guys. You don't hear 12 or 15 guys all layered. Some are stacked keyboards and that sort of thing, but pretty much it's 5 guys playing live and singing. And we tried to keep it all through the new record, doing that same thing. That's pretty cool. That's real music. And I also often make the comment, even though it's the 40th anniversary of Grand Illusion, back then there wasn't digital manipulation. There wasn't correction of things that weren't wrong in the first place. If you could sing like you guys do, you were singing. It was God's gift for singing like that.
Yeah.
So
And we sang everything on the record. That it meant, sometimes it meant, let me give me another take, you know, because there's these moments in your voice. You're going through this. You're a human being, so you have your high points in the day, and we would try and find that time when your voice is at its peak, and we just kept recording until we got the takes that we liked. On the other hand, on The Greater Good, the first lines that you hear from Lawrence Gowan were the first lines that he sang on the demo. It was we had just written the words. Now step up and sing it, and that's what you hear on the record.
that's pretty cool.
It usually takes me a lot more cracks at it than that, but funny enough, we just finished the lyrics to the song. Tommy handed me the finished sheet, and it's weird. Many years ago, I had the privilege, the honor of having dinner one night with Steve Winwood.
Oh,
And
my
Winwood,
goodness.
I got to ask him a couple. It was with friends of his. I just kind of insinuated myself in the table. But I saw them. I'd watched them record "Roll with Me." Roll with it.
Roll with it.
Roll with it, baby. Yeah, and he sang. They were all playing live together. And anyway, at the dinner thing, I asked Steve Winwood, the thing about your vocals, they always sound so like you're so connected immediately to when I hear you sing. And he said, first take, usually when the lyrics are just done, first take has something amazing to it because you're not acting the song, you're actually feeling it. You're actually living it in that moment. And I think I was lucky enough that finally happened to me on The Greater Good. Yeah.
Just to be able to hit the note properly the first time through explains why
Well, that's just an accident.
I don't get to do that very often. The new album is The Mission. Congratulations on that. You've been working in secret for what, 2 years doing this?
3 years,
3
really.
years?
Yeah.
Why in secret?
Well, we didn't want to have to be talking about it, and we had to work on the record in between playing 110, 120 shows a year.
Lots of shows, yeah.
So that's what took so long. So to have the cat out of the bag, in the beginning of it, by the time we had the record out there, it would be like, sometimes you see movie trailers and then a year later the movie comes out.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
didn't that? So that was one thing, and it was still in its being created. So we didn't want anything to influence it. We didn't want any pre-listening parties of stuff that wasn't finished. So we really felt like we had something special and something good that was worth protecting and worth giving an opportunity to get as good as it could.
Mm-hmm. You made mention the album was made for headphone listening, and you recorded in analog on real honest-to-God tape.
Yeah.
We did.
I don't know where you found real honest-to-God tape.
They're making it again.
They are making it. That's the cool thing about it. If we had made this record 3 or 4 years ago, it would have been hard to find tape. We might have had to record over tape that was already used.
Use something else, yeah.
And there wasn't as much of an audience for vinyl. In the time that we got all this together, vinyl sales have gone through the roof. And so it's not us out there preaching, trying to convince people you really should give vinyl a chance. No, if you look out there, you'll see
there now.
who isn't releasing an album on vinyl.
This is what the vinyl looks like.
Yeah.
I imagine the CD cover is a little bit smaller. I've been told before we open it up for the goodies inside that there's Easter eggs throughout this photograph.
There are.
And,
And on the inside.
and there's somebody's initials on here that's not yours as well. Sorry, can't tell you any of those things.
There's 5 or 6 things that have to do with the record, and some of it you just have to guess or figure out, or maybe we'll tell you. But it's fun. It's meant to be fun. It's a 12 by 12 piece of graphic art. There's photos of it being made.
It was all done at a studio in Nashville called Blackbird. Well, it was done in Tommy's house initially, but on the final recording was done at a studio called Blackbird. And those photographs in there are us making the record and showing us using all the old gear. And you're basically kind of, I guess, the intention was to almost pretend like we were living in 1979 and that the newer technology didn't exist, and so we'd be true to the machinery that went into making those classic STYX records and connect with that sound as much as possible.
Did Tommy keep regaling you with stories about giving away all his old equipment and then having to go back on eBay and buying the old equipment back again?
That's a good story.
Yeah, and some of the stuff I gave to the hard rock, and it wound up in places like Bora Bora, and
And
I
of course,
gotta
they
get
gave you a
down-
ticket to go there and see it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no.
You guys have been touring a lot. You always playing a live show from STYX is going to be great. There's going to be singing. There's going to be playing. There's a lot of energy on stage, and there's even a keyboard player who dances around in circles.
Wow, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, so that's going to the United We Rock tour. You're doing that with REO Speedwagon
And Don Felder.
and Don Felder.
Yeah.
Boy, that boy can play guitar, can he?
Yeah, he certainly can.
Is there competition amongst? There's 2 master guitarists and a keyboard player here with me right now. Is there when Don gets up there with a
Has
guitar?
nothing but respect.
Mutual Admiration Society is what it is.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
He is.
Looking forward to seeing it in concert.
Yeah.
I got a kick out of you guys congratulating Yes and Journey on the Hall of Fame, which was amazing that Journey got into it and Yes got into it after all this time as well.
Right.
And that's real musicians we're talking about again, and there you are. Any thoughts about ever getting into the Hall of Fame?
Well, I used to kind of have a bad attitude about it, the whole process of guys sitting in a room and voting on that sort of thing. And some of the choices they'd made ahead of bands from our era. But it's kind of turned. I used to say I really want to be in after I'm gone. I want to. I don't want to have to go to it.
Yeah.
But it's gotten a little more friendly recently, and like the last class that was inducted, I thought was really well chosen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And when you invite Steve Miller someplace, you're going to get whatever the truth is coming
Yeah.
at you that way.
I got in already. It was $15. It was good. It was really
Ladies and gentlemen,
interesting to see all
Lawrence
that
Gowan
stuff.
with STYX. The new album is called The Mission. It's available in vinyl,
Yes.
as well as every digital everything there is in the world.
Yeah.
Are you also shooting videos? Is there a story or something going on, the making of The Mission or something like that?
Well, we did a little kind of an EPK thing that's
Okay.
getting rolled out little bits at a time. There's lots of little things. You know, it's a whole different world now than the way we used to promote records. And that's another thing that changed since Equinox, since Cyclorama.
Yeah.
Because then we were kind of stuck. The classic rock radio was not going to play new songs from a classic rock band, and modern radio was not going to play songs from a classic rock band. So, but now there's so many platforms and so many ways you can promote a record.
Yeah.
It's really been good for us.
Well, you're doing a good job. And you're on the road, so you can get away with things. Wait a minute, no, you're working with REO. I guess that's the way out that would work.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys for stopping by the garage. You're
It's
welcome
always a
anytime.
pleasure.
Great, Joe.
I
Great to
love,
see you.
I love to hear your voice.
Yeah,
man.
your voice is great, and it really resonates
Uncle
well
Joe.
in the garage.
In the garage, that's because a lot
it
of
does.
tin in
Yeah,
here.
it does. Yeah.
STYX, the new album's called The Mission. The new tour is United We Rock 2017, along with REO Speedwagon and Don Felder.
Yeah.
They're actually guitar duels and each night. Isn't that how it works?
It's not a real instrument.
Mutual
not a
admiration
real-
society.
Arm wrestling, bare knuckle boxing. We're going to do it all.
See, just as we promised you. Thanks for hanging in the garage.
Our pleasure.
Hey, here we are inside your Uncle Joe's garage, and I know you haven't been inside the garage yet, but I got some great news for you. We've created a mobile version of the Uncle Joe's garage thanks to our friends at Mike Thompson RV Superstores. Like they say, don't miss a moment. And don't miss the mobile Uncle Joe's garage when it comes to a location near you. I'll be looking for you.